Hi, my name's Kate. I'm a cross stitcher in the UK, in the Midlands, and welcome to my Chaotic Cross Stitch channel. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I hope you've been happy the last month and you've got all the things you want to do done. If you're in the UK, I hope you haven't had the weather that I've been having, where it just seems to be cloudy but also really hot. And I'm like, I want hot, I want high pressure, I want blue skies, which is what we've got today. So if you've just heard that, I apologise, the window's open because it's hot in this little room, and we're on a bus route, but it's not a main road, so hopefully there shouldn't be too much traffic noise. When I've done a couple of tests and it didn't seem to be, so we'll see. But yes, if you're new, hi. Thank you for coming to watch me. I've had a little smattering of new subscribers over the last month, so thank you very much if you've subscribed. That's very nice of you. Yeah, let's talk about cross stitch. So I do WIPGO as done by Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and last month's call, she said, looking for her notes, last month's calls, or July's calls, were number 2 and number 16. And that will be my WIPGO board. So for those, I had to do a page finish on Frozen by DonaStitch, which is, they do it as 2 versions, version A and version B, and I'm doing version A. And this is on 18 count Ada in Pearl Flecked White. That's the pattern. This is the thing. I have taken it out of the Q-snap, and it is hanging on a coat hanger on the back of the door. And now, of course, it won't all fit, probably. So yeah, I had finished this page up here, which has a hangy thread because the last few stitches that I needed to do were just a couple in there, and this continues along. So I'd left those till last, so I did a couple to finish the page, and then I will go across. And that's the next page. So yes, it holds its creases. When I took it out of the Q-snap, this morning, and it stayed quite bundled up, really, until I kind of like stretched it out, put it on a coat hanger so it could hang off the back of the door and just breathe a little bit. So yeah, there are 3 pages left to finish on this. There's a page here, a page there, and a page at the bottom, which is partly done because when I got to Olaf is obviously, you can see where the page goes down. I couldn't just half do Olaf, although I did half do poor Sven, bless him. So yes, that's where we are on that one. I'm not too worried about the kind of harsh page. There's page breaks all over in here somewhere, and they'll sort themselves out. But yes, that's where we are with that one. So that was done. My other WIPGO call was 16, which for me was to finish Little Alien Schoolgirl by Ink Circles, which I started on the 27th of December 2016. It was my birthday. I had 2 choices of things I was going to start for my birthday, and in the end, that ended up being the day Carrie Fisher died. So Little Alien Schoolgirl became the obvious choice. So we have a finish, not a fully finished. Don't get carried away, but we do have a finish. I love it so much. I'm aware I was procrastinating finishing this. The reason being is so many of my finishes don't get fully finished. They don't, because cost, etc., etc. So they go in a bag, and they live in a bag. And I didn't want that to happen with this one. I like looking at it. I like working on it. So this has, since I finished it, which was on, I had to go and look at my camera roll and find out, the 21st of July, this has been living on a coat hanger, hung on the back of the door in my office, so that I could just keep turning around and looking at it and going, finished it. It is very crunkly. It will get like steamed out, ironed out. It's going to get framed. I'm going to take it to get framed in September. It will come out of August's pay. and I'll take it to get framed in September. It might end up being October, but we'll see. I've got money put aside to get it framed because I know roughly how much it should be. So there are a couple of changes from the original design, which is that this writing across here is different to the original design. The language is from Futurama, and my one, instead of the original, says Queen Carrie Fisher. And then the other change I made was at the bottom here with these blocks, which I talked about last time, in that the blocks were supposed to like have a pattern in or something like that, and I could never quite work it. Unlike that, where she gave like hints to it on her website and I could go and look it up, this didn't really have the same thing. So in the end, what I did is I tweaked it slightly. So I made it slightly longer by one row of blocks, so just along a little bit, and then I filled that in Braille. So in Braille, it says KMH, and then that symbol there is what they call a number signifier. So you put that in, and then it's whatever of the first like letters of the alphabet. So A would be 1, so you have that, and then the next thing would be a 1 instead of an A. So yeah, it says so KMH, the number signifier, and then it says 25. And that's it. I did think, should I have changed this to be the date I did it and things like that, but because at that point I still wasn't sure when I was going to finish it. And WIPGO has helped me immensely with working on finishing things, if that makes sense. I've done more stitching this year than I have the last few years because I've been doing WIPGO, and because I've been doing Dobby's couple of sales as well, has kind of kept me ticking over. I read a lot less as well this year. Last year was 500 and something books. By the end of the year this year, I've just about cracked 200. So, you know, the cross stitching is working. But yes, I'm very fond of this. This is on 32 count Belfast linen and antique white. It's done with the charted flosses, which are Weeks Dye Works. For that one, luckily none of them I've had. There's one project I'd worked with Weeks Dye Works on. Again, I started this in 2016. I wouldn't use Weeks Dye Works now. I don't think I'd do it in DMC, but I would, because there is variegation in there, and it is lovely. Not the robot is different colours in there, but like some of that is the variegation in those kind of cow horse leg six-legged things and stuff, and obviously like the sandworm who is just yeeting his way across the page and things like that. Oh, well, that you can see it in that the city. You can see the colour changes in the city, I think. So yes, that's that one. I'm very happy with that. I'm delighted with that. I'm really glad I got it finished. But I'm also really glad that I know the really good framers, so I can get it framed. Yeah, so that's that one. So they were my 2 WIPGO calls for July. The 2 WIPGO calls for August were 12 and 15. So it's all right. I've just looked down and thought I've put all those projects in completely the wrong order for just to be able to pick them up. Anyway, yeah, 12 and 15. 12 is to do 6 lengths. You can see it. I need to look. 6 lengths of thread on a project of my partner's choice. He has picked turtles all the way down. Now my turtles all the way down will not look like this. Let me just fish it up from where it has got wedged. So what I decided to do with my turtles all the way down was make it turtles all the way down. So my turtles all the way down, why are you out of sync? Is on a piece of Dr. Smith's Tonic by Sparkleys, 28 count Jaslyn, and it is 9 inches by 54. Yeah. So I then worked out, like looking at the pattern there, I've got the tiny little turtles, and then it cuts into the big turtles. And then I worked out how many times I needed to do repeats on the big turtles. I think I've got a picture. I'm sure I've got a picture somewhere where I've got it out so you can see the fabric. It's from a while ago. I'll put a date when I find it. I will find the photo and I will put it here. I'll have a date on it that says when that photo was taken. So I've done a bit since then, but I tend to pick it up, do a turtle, put it away. And I'd had a slow bit because I ran out of the brown that I was using for. So I use it's the same brown for every turtle, and these are pretty much the same going each way, and then the shell is obviously a different shell. So with this, the threads I'm using are completely random, and they are random silks in a Captain America type bag thing that I can't remember where I got it from. I've had it a very long time, but they are, so the threads are all here. The turtle brown is Cocoa Bean by Dinky Dyes. But what I've been doing with the rest of the threads is I bought a load of silks for you, like random packs. I don't know if any of them are still, yeah, so they were literally bought as like set 4 sample set. I think I bought set 1, 2, 3, and they're all, yeah, so just random silks for use. And then I've basically gone through and pulled them out. So that's the Cocoa Bean, and then there's like I've used a yellow, I've used that one, those two, and I've tried to keep it so that like I'll do that one, and then that's the next turtle, and then the next color will, okay, so that can't, like, so then the next color will be, so I think I must have done orange and then the blue, and then I've done that kind of coppery color, and then I've done some rainbow, and we've got some green, and then we've got that one and some more rainbow, and that kind of red, and there's a green in there, and a blue, and the pink, and the gold, and the purple. Now they've got to be a bit out of sync because you can see where the blue and the pink are, and the red. But yeah, I literally, unless I take it off the Q-snap, I have no idea what colours are going where, and this is giving me like a vague idea of how to keep them, you know, so I don't end up with like 3 blue ones alternating and things. I need to take it off the Q-snap because obviously once I finish this turtle I need to move it. So when I do that I will take a picture, which might make it into editing. It will be here if I did that. I don't know. I have no idea when I'm going to edit this. It's Saturday afternoon. It's Saturday evening. It's like 5 to 6. But I was out last night and got home at 2:30. Today's been a very slow day. And then there was F1 qualifying to watch and things like that. So I was like, oh, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it now. And it's done. Then I've got tomorrow to do editing bits and pieces around other things. So, but yes, so turtles will be my number 12 WIPGO call. It's on my WIPGO board already as its own thing to do 3 turtles. So that might come up again really soon, but it might not. But it hadn't come up, and I was really wanting to work on it. And so Anthony was like, well, I'll pick a project for you, but you know, out of what? And I was like, out of these 3. And he was like, you haven't worked on that for ages, do that one. So I did that one. So the other WIPGO call for August was 15, which I'd actually already done. I got ahead of myself. So I can't remember when I actually last worked on this. Let me look at I do a thingy. Dead technical, that is. I do a thing where I'm trying to stitch every day and I make a note of it. So the last time I actually worked on Quiet Town, oh, I did a little bit in May. I'd done this in February. I must have done this in February. I think I got annoyed when I was trying to work on it. I was trying to do parking. I don't use pattern keeper or anything like that. I'm paper. Trying to park and mark it on paper and not get confused and not no, just no, not happening. So what we do now is we pick it up, we do a length of thread and see what it, pick a colour and off we go. So let me grab this for you. This is actually in I think I will try and put the name up here. I don't think her Etsy shop's open at the moment, but what I bought when I started doing it was, this is a really deep grime guard. It will stretch a long way for lots of fabric, but it comes with like a bag. So all the fabric this way is in here, and it's just like, it lives in there, so it just folds. When I get to being in the middle of the piece, then obviously there's loads off in different directions. The bag obviously won't work. But again, I can probably put it then over the whole Q-snap when I'm not using it. But anyway, I digress. So this is Quiet Town. Ooh, this is Quiet Town. And what I did was, I can't do that while I'm not looking at it. Oh, you're over there. Oh, blimey. So I'd stitched in, you can see I had parked threads in different points and things like that, and I've then gone across. So we have a whole page here, and then I was like, oh, don't make sure there's not lines showing when I was trying to, and I was like, just whatever. So we've got various bits of blue. We've got some houses and things coming in here. I suddenly had the hair to go off and do the bright orange, so I could go off and do that. Although I'm obviously kind of traveling around, I'm trying to do it. So for example, I've sewn in it, and I'm basically working across sort of 4 pages at the moment. That page is done. This is the next page. Yeah, 3, 4. So like if I wanted to see what was, like if I had another color that was coming off here that I wanted to do, I have to be able to put it into, like I'd find something, if there was something over here I wanted to do, I would find colors that worked the way across so that I could then put it in. And that was the thing, like this orange has kind of gone, I've done a bit up here, and then I've gone over here and done a bit, and then I've come up, and then I've gone round. And there's obviously other blues in here. It's a very defined line. Most of this will be one colour there, the bits that aren't, so I can just fill, there'll be points where I can just fill it in, you know, do the awkward bits, and then the rest of it's mindless filling. Not mindless, but straightforward filling. I did a lot of this in February. I got back into watching the X-Files again. I was having a big X-Files rewatch and watched lots and lots and lots of it, and then stopped again for some reason, so I need to start that again because I want to get it all finished. And I will potentially be working on this at the same time. I have seen there is an X-Files Sal coming out by Stitch Sprout. I'm trying very hard not to go for that because I have got enough stuff going on, she said, about to show you new starts and things. But anyway, that's Quiet Town. So that WIPGO call's done. It is not on the WIPGO board. Otherwise, that was the only way it was on there, to just get rid of the hangy threads that were annoying me no end. So yeah, that's that one. So that's my WIPGOs. So the other one I'm doing is a Sal that was invented by Dobby, covered in floss. Hi Dobby, I love you, you're awesome. So she'd invented the Out of Spite Sal, where I have not got written down in front of me the definition of that, because I've put it down somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Not that one. So many pieces of paper. Sorry, right. Out of Spite Sal. We all have projects we really want to finish, but we hate working on them. No project can win over us. So once a month, take it out, stitch at least 50 stitches, and then we can feel a bit better about ourselves. So my poor neglected one is the Twisted Rainbow Sampler. It's the cross stitch only version, and it's just stitched in DMC. because I started this in 2016. I hadn't started stitching with silks at that point. I didn't want this to be my first silks project. Probably a good idea, seeing the way it's gone. But this is what it looked like last time. This is what it looks like now. We've got some more bits of kind of mothy butterflies. A load more of that. I'd put in a load of this, and then realised that somewhere when I'd done it a stitch wrong. Like no, it was here, it was the green. I'd gone in to start like here, but I was thinking it being that stitch in that place, and I'd gone all the way up, and then I tried to come back down, and then I realised it was wrong, so I cut it all out, and then I put it all back in again straight away. So otherwise it was going to drive me nuts. So that's that. It's coming along. I'm doing more than 50 stitches on it. I'm trying to do it, I tend to do it on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then try and do maybe like a length of the orange and a length of the yellow and a length of the green, you know, because I wanted to get the colours in. So now I'm trying to, I need to work up before I can work across anymore. So I'm working my way up on that. Yeah, so that's that one. The other sal of Dobby's that I am doing is the no obligation sal, which is no numbers, no tracking. The only thing you need to do is to take out one of your most neglected projects at the beginning of the month and at least look at it. It may be neglected, but it won't at least be forgotten. And then I've used this. I've worked on different things each month. I think last month, June, July, I worked on 99 by ink circles, and I did it both months, but I had obviously the finish for Frosted Pumpkin Summer in there as well. So yeah, I haven't done quite what I wanted to do. So this is 99 by ink circles, and this is what it looked like at the end of June, and this is what it looks like now. So I haven't quite finished what I wanted to finish. I wanted to do these. That was there before. I want to do six bottles. So this one is finished. The Foster's bottle is finished. I think that one's finished. There might be something in there. No, you look done. No, that one's done as well. So I need to finish this bottle, which is what I was doing, watching the Grand Prix qualifying. And then I need to finish this bottle and this one, and then I need to finish along that shelf. And my thing was, if I finish along that shelf, if I do each of these as full crosses and work my way along, it looks messier than if I go zwump one way and zwump the other. I don't know why, but yeah, finish the bottles. That's in there, so I will then finish that shelf off, and then I can start the next shelf, and that will fit. But I'm not going to work on this one in August as a no obligation sal because I have other plans. So on, trying to sort these out. Okay, let's catch up to where we were. So I had seen on Instagram that Kenny Stitches was doing an abandoned sal. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then I couldn't think of a sal I had that was abandoned that I actually wanted to work on. Lola Crow doesn't count because it's not that, like, I'm not counting it because it's too new. It's still an ongoing sal. Technically, I could just jump straight back into it. I'm talking something that was released however long ago. And I have a doozy of a project, which I adore, but also I'm like, oh my God. So this is the Mysterious Adventure Project by Ink Circles. Apologies for the zip. So the premise of this is that it is basically a roll your own map. Okay, so what you get is you've got lots of kind of options. So it's basically, this is a roll your own. You need a good set of dice, So I've got the kind of, I think I bought a 10 set in here. It's like, oh, use playing cards, use this, use something else, use bingo balls, you know, gives you an idea for fabric to use, gives you ideas of floss to use, and basically says you need a black colour or dark outlining colour, you need a medium grey, a light grey and some white, you need 2 shades of brown plus a different brown plus a tan brown. That's the only suggestions that it gave you. And basically you then, it gives you borders to do. So let me see. So yeah, so that was the thing. So you then got, here's your borders, pick your border, pick which border you want, work it out. This is how much they repeat by, this is, you know, how to do it, this is how all the stitches are. And it made me laugh because when I was looking at this again, I'd forgotten how complicated how like interesting it is as different stitching. So like it gives you the borders, it's like, here are your borders, and then it gives you all the maths on how to work out your border repeats and things like that. And it's all the kind of, and at the bottom it says, you may have thought algebra had no purpose in your life. You need it for calculating borders. So we'll drop all the pieces of paper. But anyway, you get, yes, so you had your open, you had your border, you had how to generate your coastline, which is the point I'm at, ways of mapping, putting the nameplate on, and then it gives you like how to break up your project into sections, and then when you've broken it up into sections, like what those sections end up being. So you split them into dry and wet cells. So the wet ones end up with ships in or whatever, and then the dry ones end up with dry land things, mountain ranges. I've got nowhere near that point, like nowhere near that point. But digging it all out has made me excited about doing it again. So I found I had in here, we have my set of dice to roll. So you roll those and they tell you where your coastline goes, for starters. They give you other things on those. But anyway, yes, yeah, so let's pull it out and show you where I'd got to. This is on a piece of Dr. Smith's Tonic by Sparklies. I want to say Sparklies. And then I want to say Dr. Smith's Tonic is also, she said, checking her things, yeah, is also the fabric I've used for turtles all the way down. So obviously turtles was quite a small key snap. You couldn't really see what the fabric looked like. This is like a better example. So I had done my piece of fabric. I've stitched the border all the way around. I have gone with the rope border. So that's the black, and then you've got two, like a tan and a gold, and they'll go all the way around, and then like a couple of things, and then this kind of sparkle. And I'd gone around to make sure that my repeats, that my corners worked and my repeats worked. So that's where we got to. And then I started, obviously, on my coastline. And it gives you like the generator thing. And basically, which I will put up here, basically you roll a die. You're here and you stitch 3. So like here was like stitch 5 or whatever, and then it was toss a coin to go left or right, toss a coin, roll the die, how many spaces, how many are you stitching, etc, etc. So you do it like that. So yeah, I haven't got a whole lot done. We shall see. I very potentially bit off more than I can chew, and I'd half thought, oh well, if I only did a part that, I've forgotten how I'd actually done the border. But yeah, the if I get it at that, yeah, you can see the kind of browny bits in the fabric. It's very hard because I can't really tell from here. If I fold it in half, is that better? Yeah, you can see it's very parchmenty. It was perfect for the turtles. It's perfect for this. So we shall see how unabandoned this becomes. I suspect it will be something that will be worked on in chunks. What I had been doing was I'd done a lot of stitching a bit, stopping to roll, stitching a bit, doing my head in. That was not working for me. So what I did is what I have is this. This is me on graph paper, rolling and stuff, and I can't work out where I've actually, like, how much of this, whether it's that way up. Don't know. But yeah, and then you work out from this. I think I must have done this, and then some of these bits of rivers kind of coming in is how I must have done it. The whole instructions are in there. It is still available because I went to look because I know the Ink Circles website is currently down and being rejigged and stuff like that. So I had a check. It's available on the Ink Circles Etsy store. It's not yes, it's just a pattern, but it's not a cheap pattern because there's so much stuff that's got into this. You've got all the maths and the calculations. You've got the whole border patterns. You've got all the patterns for. There's like 10 different patterns for the different nameplate things you can use. There's like a couple of different patterns for the compass rose. There's little different patterns for, like, what if you've got a coastline and you've got this, why don't you stitch a lighthouse? Here are 8 different types of lighthouse. Here are 5 different types of castle and 3 different types of mountain range and a couple of different types of island and sea monsters and shipwrecks. And if it ever gets done, it's going to be amazing. There are on the when I looked on Etsy, there were pictures, like there were things of people had finished them and things. And it is an old, like, this is not a new, this is like 2018. I want to say 2018. I saw the copyright on one of the pages, and I can't remember now, but it was it was the mystery Sal. I want to say 2018. The borders came out in June. The dry packet for the land cells came out in November. And it's basically like each thing has specific rules on how to fit them. Important rule: nobody's watching you roll. If you roll something and you don't like it, do it again. You don't have to tell anyone you did it. Do it again. But yeah. So it's very much like a design it yourself. No one is going to have, if you're doing this based on dice rolls and you've picked your fabric and you've picked completely different colours, it's never going to be the same project. Even if you did it again, it's never going to be the same project twice. And I had forgotten how much I'd love this and just the concept of it, but trying to, like, I don't think it's an easy dip in and out of cross stitch for me. Certainly for me, it's much more of a, I have to make a plan and I'm going to do this. So I need to still sit down. I dug it out this morning and I've had a look through it and was like, oh my god. I was instantly like, right, I need to go and work on this now. I was like, no, I need to go and film talking about this now. We'll see how far I've got when we get to September. I've got a week off in August, but I'm doing stuff for a lot of it. I only have really 2 days, 2, 3. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, where I'm not doing anything. But who knows if that'll end up being stitching or house cleaning or God only knows what. So that is the Mysterious Adventure project. That one. So that's what I will be doing for my no obligation and also the abandoned Salsal. So I will take some pictures. I'll put those up on my Instagram at some point when I remember to do it. My Instagram name is the same as my YouTube name, Petronella Rose. I've had it for too long to come up with some clever cross stitch and chaos or something like that. No. And my Instagram is also not just, I said this last time, but new people. My Instagram is not just cross stitching. My Instagram is everything, because trying to have a separate cross stitching Instagram just didn't work in the slightest. Anyway, Last time I talked about the fact that I had been enabled to do a restart on Good Witch, which is a QS quick stitch from Heaven and Earth by Hannah Lynn. And this is what Good Witch looks like, where I can't remember what it looked like last time. I think I'd finished this. Kind of done. I don't know. Anyway, we've got lots of hair going on in there and eyelashes, which I only realised the other day when I'd taken a picture. The other thing that happened with this was as is always the case, I thought to myself, oh, I measured out how big it was going to be, and this is how big it's going to be. It fits on here, like it will go across. So that's a page is 3 and a bit, and then there'll be 3 and a bit, and then there'll be 3 and it will fit in here. So I thought to myself, oh, can I find Q-snaps that will fit it? And what I actually did was I bought two this size and two this size. No, one this size, one this size, and then turned it into 2 Q-snaps. And then the other thing I did is I thought to myself, I need some new grime guards. I've tried those magnetic thingammy bobs and they don't work for me. I wanted grime guards. So I went onto Etsy, found someone who was selling grime guards, bought 2 slightly different sized ones because of the fact that I was like, is there a real, if I get a 17 by whatever and a something else, like I think I got a 17 by 11 and a 14 by 14 and they're essentially the same. And I was going to go, it's this shop. They're really gorgeous. You know, da-da-da-da. And I thought, when they'd arrived and I tried them and they were perfect, I thought, I want a couple more. And she's closed her shop. Every time I buy grime guards, apart from that big one, the shop closes. Obviously, don't ever tell me your favourite grime guard shops because I'll jinx them. But anyway, so this is where Good Witch has got to. We have just a page of black, and I'm just going to do, my aim is to do all the black and then fill in the colours. And I thought to myself, if I can put this on the Q-Stack where it's permanently, like that's on display, that's what I'm going to do. And then, of course, because I'd been working on this one, I had to work on the other one. So, this one is Wicked Witch. So we have same grime guards, same size Q-snap. Thing with the Wicked Witch, look at that picture. What do you notice if you're going to stitch all the black? It's an awful lot of hat going on there. So, yep, first page. We've got, this will be the Yellow Brick Road, and then her hat. So what I did is I'd done a lot of it, and I'd been doing it in rows, and I got up to here, and I had about 8 stitches to do when I'd run out of thread. It's like I want a page finish. So finish the thread there, and then went, okay, so I've gone all the way across the top of page 2. So this is page 2. Like this line straight down is the side of page 2. So there will be more hat going that way, as you can see from the picture. So all of this to, I don't know, I think it comes up like that. All of that will be solid black. Solid black, which is fine. If I can just do it in little, I can literally sit there. The problem I did find with these, when I put them on there, and then I'm trying to work on it like this, and it was too, like, it's too far away. I can't work on it. So this one was basically stitched sideways. So remembering that I had to cross, so my crosses go bottom right, top left, bottom left, top right, usually, or at least that, the underneath leg goes right to left. So obviously with this one, I had to do it where the underneath leg was left to right to make sure the stitches all go the same way. And in the end, that was fine. Yeah. So there she is. I just love her. Just love her. It's not because of, I was thinking about it, I was like, is it because of Wicked that I want to do the pair of them? I know I love her because of her steampunky kind of glassy things. I read Wicked very long time ago, like when it first came out, very long time ago, and I remember going, this is really good, I like this. And then I haven't gone back and reread it. I've not seen the musical, I've not seen the film, soon to be 2 films. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice, it was good. The thing I most remember about it was that in the afterword he was talking about how he'd gone to visit children's authors, and he'd gone to visit like P.L. Travers, and he'd gone to visit Mary Poppins. He'd gone to visit Lucy Boston, who's one of my, like, her Green Notebooks are like formative in my brain. And I just remember that from the afterword, how delighted he was to meet these people, and that there were certain things that happened that just made him go, yeah, there is something going on. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Sorry, books happen in this world. But that's where we are with that one. So what was I talking about next? Where's my thing? It's over there. Oh yes. So I try and stitch every day. Last year I stitched every single day apart from 2. And those 2 days were, I've got a couple of friends. We don't do it for my birthday because my birthday's so close to Christmas. It just ends up being awkward. But we have a couple of nights away. We'll have like a day in a hotel, day in a spa thing, just away from everything. And last year, the 2 days I didn't stitch were the 2 days where I'd gone away the Thursday and came home the Saturday, and I didn't stitch on the Friday. And that's coming up into that, like, one of their birthdays is in 2 weeks. And I was like, I want to stitch every day for a whole year. Like, it's literally, I have to do 5 stitches. I'm not pushing, like, it's like 5 stitches. That's why, like, the bottles have been worked on a lot, but not got that much progress. But I've done like at least 5 stitches every day. I was like, I want to do a thing. I haven't really got anything, like, everything's a bit too big. I need something little and funky, and I haven't got anything, so it means I've got to start something. So what I was looking for, I was digging around through all my ink circles projects, and I found blueprint for the Rainbow City, which obviously it's Emerald City, but Rainbow City, it made me think it was. So I think this is done. So this is done in Gloriana, in the navy, and Ada's rainbow. Now, I've looked for those Glorianas and I can't find them where I'd normally get supplies from. So I was like, look, just do it with what you've got. Just do it with what you've got. I don't know if I'm going to do it in navy or if I'm just going to do it in black, because I have a cone of DMC 310. So let's just DMC 310 the hell out of everything. But what I have got is I bought a load of Carrie's Creation threads, and these are silks, and they are just rainbow silks. I don't know if this actually has a name on it. There's a stray bit there. I don't want to lose the stray bit. Oh, I did lose the stray bit. Okay, hang on, let me rescue the stray bits because I'd been using them for something. So this is Carrie's Creation threads. This is Over the Rainbow hand-dyed silk floss. Yeah, so they go from the purple. They go from the purple to blue into the green, into the yellow, into the orange, into the red. So that's those, and they feel lovely. So I figured that works for the rainbowy bits on the pattern. And then I have a chunk. This is an old chunk because this came from so-and-so, which obviously vanished, and it's like the labels the labels faded out. It is 28 count Jaslyn, just white Jaslyn, and I figure that it's it's about the pattern, not the fabric. But I figured that would be a nice little, I can stick it in like a tiny Q-snap and it will fit in a zipper bag and it will go, and it's not too many of my things, like I've either done enough, like if I do this and I take it away with me for the day, and then we're having, you know, cocktails, and I managed to yeet one across the room, which I have done before, and spill it all over my cross stitch project. I haven't done that before, but I have spilt it over a pair of boots before. Then it's a new start, and I'm not halfway through something, and it's not the end of the world. I start again. I just wanted to make sure that I stitched every day this year. So that's that one. What else have we got? So haul. There's a little bit of haul. If you don't like haul, then thank you. If you've watched this far, thank you for watching this far. I'm aware of what time is. I'm going to try and zip through this. So I have like unuseful haul, useful. I bought those grime guards for the Oz Girls and the Q-snap things that I then turned into 2 Q-snaps the same. I had bought myself a bunch of wooden thread drops. I think the balsa wood or something off Amazon for far too cheap, like ridiculously cheap. But I was just like, I need something in a hurry. I need something in a hurry that's cheap. So we end up with those. And also thanks to Stuart and Stitches, I bought a load of these things that then like screw together to hold bobbins where it's bigger than a ring, than a binder ring. And I've used these on a couple of things, and they've been quite useful. Sorry about the thud. I signed up to the Lakeside Needlecraft do a DMC thread club where you can subscribe, and you can basically you subscribe for however long, and they send you all the DMC threads, and they send you them like in a pack. You know, you get a pack. So it's like, oh, here is month 1, here is month 2, and you literally, I'd signed up, and then I'd signed up when I bought the other stuff I'm about to show, and then I was waiting for the invoice to come through, and it didn't come through for a while, and then I was like, oh, and then I was thinking, will it? And it did, but I think because I was a new person and they had to add it into the system. But anyway, it did, it came. So I think these are the first, I don't know, it's the first batch, the first however many numbers of them, so that eventually I will have a master set. I've got quite a few DMC threads in different places. They're on bobbins and they're in bits, and they tend to be in projects. I was like, just get a set. You know, it's not loads of money a month. It's just a steady boom, boom, boom. And when you've got it all, and if you save up sideways, you could like save up alongside it. I don't want the pip and chip bobbins, because bobbins drive me nuts. Although I'm very tempted by the bobbins, because then I can have like one of those nice little Bisley like drawery things. But I also don't want the chips for the drops that you put in the boxes, because I need 4 boxes, and I don't have space for the 4 boxes. So the thing I am thinking about is the kind of rack things where it all fits in one box. But obviously the downside of that is that you then have the rack. Like, you can't just take one. But my thing is, if I had the chip, if I have the bobbins, I've got to bobbinate everything, and then I'd take bobbins out for projects, and then I wouldn't have them in there. And again, the same with the floss drop chips. Again, 4 boxes, I don't have space for 4 boxes. I'd take the chips out. That's not how I want to do it. That's not going to work for my chaotic brain. It just won't work. So, but the first step was buy the threads, because there's no point in me going, oh yeah, let me buy this fancy, you know, box system, and then it's like, well, I don't know where all my threads are. So I'm gonna like get like at least halfway through, and then look at those. So the other stuff I bought from Lakeside was, I had bought the fabric for my steam bee, because the fabric I was going to use for that is got used on the Oz Girls. I'm not sure if this is the other, I think this is then this DMC rather than Zweigart. I don't know. One of them, I just went, oh, it's the Easy Grid. It's a 25 count Easy Grid, boom. And then obviously this is like this is the 10 by 10s. These are 20 by 20. So this feels a bit weird. I don't know. It's going to be exactly the same, you would have thought. So as well as that, I bought a batch of, because I bought this stuff and then I had a moment and went on Amazon and bought the bobbin floss drop things and the screwy cable ties. I've got some floss rings. I had bought a new, this is really, I'm sorry, this is really crinkly. I can hear it's crinkly. I bought a new set of floss away bags with a big ring on because I use these for all sorts of things, mostly for my silks and stuff like that go in these. I had bought a set of DMC number stickers. I don't know what I'm going to stick them on, but I was just like, oh yeah, good set, let's get those. I bought myself some cards because I like using these for projects. And I figure a new set couldn't hurt. And then the last thing I bought from them was there is an artist called Laurel Birch whose stuff has been around for years and years and years. I'd had a couple of notebooks way back, like I bought at least one of them for like Christmas 2002 that I loved, and it's her horse series, and they have some of them as Mill Hill kits on Lakeside Needlecraft, but not all of them. And I just thought, you know what, like they don't have the one I really want, and I was like, okay, well, we'll buy a different one. So this is Embracing Horses, and it's a linen, yeah, it's a linen kit. It's got all the little beady things, it's got that. I don't know if I find it really hard to see on this pattern where the beads are, but there's beads. I think it's mostly the main, like obviously their eyes and like through here, but some of that is thread and some of that is beads. And then yeah, so there's the others along the top, and the one I really want is that one. I had that on a notebook and I loved it. The only problem was the notebook, I think it was paper blanks. The notebook was great, the notebook was gorgeous, but you couldn't write in it with fountain pen ink because it would bleed, and that just bugged me. Yeah, so Mediterranean mares, Moroccan mares, Riviera horses and wild horses. And I think one of these other ones has come back in stock and I might then buy it, but the one I'm waiting for this. I'm going to track this down somehow, but we've got that. I've got no idea where I'm going to start it. I own it. I'm happy with it. I own it. It's good. The other thing that I bought in terms of haul, I was enabled to buy, which was by Helen D, the East Coast crafter. She had done a flip through of Mary Stitchmas, the new book by Emma Condon. And I looked at the flip through and I just went, yep. I've got I think of one, maybe two projects by her on the go. I did Megan. It started off as I was going to do a letter for Megan, and then it just turned into this, which occupies a book. It's on the bookcase downstairs, and that's an Emma Condon. They came out of Cross Stitch magazine pre-2012 because that's when Megan was born, and I know I had all the patterns by that point. But yeah, so if you wanna, I will link the video below where she does the big flip through, because she goes through and like goes through the whole book. And I literally, I think I ordered it about halfway through the video, because yeah. Speaking of Emma Condon, I had the new issue of Cross Stitch come through. This came through Thursday, I want to say, Wednesday, not sure. So these are the projects that are in there on the back. It's got them, and then on the front we've got them, and the one I am like, oh, I like that helpful cover kit is one called On My Mind, and this is the Emma Condon one, and it's like cross stitch your brain. I'm not particularly into pink, but I quite like this. I just don't know, like, I'm like, do I like this and really want to stitch it, or do I just like this? And I have no idea where it would go, because yes, cross stitch brain, but like my brain is not as cross stitch is a big love, but it is not like my big love is books, is reading. That is like the thing. So yeah, but yeah, that's where we are with that. Got 5-ish minutes left. Life update. Not much on really. But yeah, as I said, I was out last night till 2:30. It's something I used to do. We'd go out like a couple of times a month and things like that, and I haven't really done it this year because I haven't been feeling. There's been various things going on, and then I went out last week, and then I went out this week, and I'm not going out next week because we're going to go and visit my mother, and then the week after is like the 3-day birthday extravaganza, and then the week after that's bank holiday weekend, not doing anything then, and then the week after that, the girls were like, oh, should we go out that Friday? We could go out that Friday. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, why can't you go out? Last Friday in August, it's payday. Why can't you go out? And I was like, I can't go out because ice hockey. And they both looked at me like, really? Yes. So there's a lot goes on. The Coventry Blaze is our closest team in the Elite League, which is the top level of British ice hockey. And so we printed off their very helpful fixture list and went through it and marked up when all their home games are. Marked up then their home games that fall on Saturdays in orange, because Anthony works Sundays as standard. So they'd be like, we couldn't. It's an hour away. I don't think we'd get a season. If we lived in Coventry, maybe we'd get season tickets. It's an hour away. I can't get there with Megan on a Sunday night without Anthony, and he works Sundays as standard. He can book maybe one off a month. So we thought we'd mark up all the ones where they're playing on a Saturday. The pink ones are ones, and we then went, oh, the pink ones are ones we're definitely going to go to. So we've got a nice pre-season fixture, which is that one in August. They're playing on my birthday. That's so helpful. And then they're playing on New Year's Day. And New Year's Day last year, or no, New Year's Day this year, was the first time we'd actually gone to an ice hockey game in person. Anthony was not convinced by my ice hockey obsession that I developed when I couldn't sleep in 2021. He was not convinced by that. Megan really was like, can we go to a game? Can we go to a game? We went to a game. And then by the end of the first 20-minute period, which is 20 minutes like live play, if you don't like, football is 45 minutes, but if someone's down injured, the ball goes out of play, the clock keeps going. Hockey, it stops. So a 20 minutes is 20 minutes live play, so it can like take 40 or whatever. Sorry. Anyway, by the end of the first period, so first intermission, he's asking, like he's like trying to work out when we can next go to games, and like going, can you pull it? And there's the signal in the rink's awful, so he's trying to look up stuff and find stuff out. So yeah, now like we have a lot of hockey. This is a GB hockey one, because they won gold, and going up a division. So, but yeah, we have hockey shirts. We are working it out. He's booking his days off around the games, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're planning stuff around that. There might be a Flosstube where I'm like, I'm filming this Flosstube, and then I'm not going to edit it today because I need to go to a hockey match. But yes, that's random life ramblings. If you stuck through that, well done. Thank you. Anyway, we are nearly at an hour on my little clocky timey thing, which means it is 20 to 7, and I'm hungry. And I need to try and work out how to upload. Upload. This takes forever to upload, and then I have to upload it. To Dropbox, and then do it from Dropbox to the editing software. And then I can start to edit, and I need to find photos and stuff like that. And I don't want to take all day again like I did last time. So apologies for the waffle plans. Did I tell you plans? I did tell you plans as I was going along. Yeah. I've done the threads on Quiet Town. I need to stitch the turtles. I'm going to work on Twisted Rainbow. I'm going to work on Mysterious Adventure Project. I might do some more on Good Witch and Wicked Witch, but I'd sooner put those stitches on Mysterious Adventure Project. And Rainbow City might get started, will get started. And that's about it. I will see you probably the day after that hockey game. Hopefully I will try and film on the 30th of August, but we shall see. But yeah, if you've stuck around this long, thank you very much. If you are new and you've stuck around this long and you haven't subscribed, then if you want to subscribe. If you don't, and like, you shouldn't have sat through all of this stuff, really shouldn't. But yeah, I will see you at the end of the month. I hope you all have a lovely August, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're kids on school holidays, but different countries, different places, different things. I just hope that you find some peace and some quiet, and you can escape all the stuff in the world just for a little bit. Okay? But yeah, I will see you in 4-5 weeks or so. Okay? Take care.